What is a VirtualBox? A VirtualBox is a powerful open-source virtualization software developed by Oracle that allows users to run multiple operating systems simultaneously on a single physical machine. It does this by creating virtual machines, or VMs, that emulate computer hardware, enabling the installation and execution of guest operating systems as if they were running on a real hardware. Here is an in-depth look at what VirtualBox does, its underlying technology, and similar virtualization software available. So what is VirtualBox? VirtualBox is a Type 2 hypervisor that runs on top of an existing operating system, which is known as host, and provides a platform for installing and running additional operating systems, which are known as guests, within virtual machines. It supports various guest operating system types including Windows, Linux, Mac OS, Solaris and BSD variants, and it can run on different host operating system platforms such as Windows, Mac OS and Linux. To understand VirtualBox, let's break down the core concepts of virtualization as it applies to all similar software. A hypervisor is a virtual machine monitor. A hypervisor is software that creates and manages virtual machines. VirtualBox is a Type 2 hypervisor, which means it runs within a host operating system, as opposed to a Type 1 hypervisor like VMware ESXi that runs directly on hardware without a host operating system. A guest operating systems are the OS instances running within virtual machines. VirtualBox isolates these guests from the host operating system, allowing them to operate independently in terms of operating system version, software and even resources allocated to them. Hardware emulation. VirtualBox emulates a range of hardware components such as network cards, storage controllers, CPUs and graphics cards, and this allows guest operating system environments to interact with what they perceive as a real hardware without conflicting with the host operating system. Guest additions. VirtualBox provides an optional package called Guest Additions, which includes drivers and system applications that improve the integrity between host and guest. This package allows features like shared clipboard, seamless Windows integration, and shared folders. Virtual disk images. Virtual machines need a storage location for the guest operating system and data. VirtualBox supports various virtual disk formats like VDI, VirtualBox Disk Image, VMDK, or VMware Disk, or VHD, Microsoft Virtual Hard Disk, and others. And here are the technical features of VirtualBox. VirtualBox is designed with various features to optimize virtual machine performance and user experience. Features like snapshot support. This allows users to save the state of virtual machine at a specific point in time. Snapshots make it easy to revert to previous configurations, which is useful to testing and development. Network options. VirtualBox supports various network modes such as NAT, network address translation, bridge networking, host-only networking, and internal networking. Each mode controls how the guest operating system connects to the host and other networks. USB pass-through. With the extension pack, VirtualBox supports USB 2.0, 3.0 devices, enabling the guest operating systems to directly access USB hardware connected to the host. Shared folders and clipboard. These features enable efficient data exchange between host and guest systems, enhancing workflow and collaboration. Virtualization extensions. VirtualBox leverages hardware-assisted virtualization technologies like Intel VT-X and AMD V for better performance, making it possible to run more resource-intensive workloads. Multi-monitor support. VirtualBox can allocate and display multi-monitors for a single VM, which is especially useful for complex applications that benefit from more screen space. And here is the similar virtualization software. There are several other prominent virtualization tools that offer similar functionality, each with unique strengths, and here is a comparison. And briefly let's review each of them. VMware Workstation Fusion offers a high-performance excellent support for 3D acceleration and powerful features for developers and enterprise users. VMware Workstation is primarily for Windows and Linux, while VMware Fusion is designed for macOS. Parallels Desktop. Optimized for macOS, Parallels offers unique features for seamless integration with macOS, making it popular among Mac users needing Windows support. Hyper-V. This is built into Windows. Hyper-V is a Type 1 hypervisor used for high-performance virtualization. It is commonly used in enterprise environments but has limited support for non-Windows operating systems. KVM or kernel-based virtual machine. It is integrated into Linux. KVM is a highly efficient Type 1 hypervisor for Linux users. It's widely used in data centers and cloud environments for its performance and scalability. QEMU, a flexible open source emulator and virtualizer. Paired with KVM, it provides efficient full system emulation and is highly customizable. And now let's discuss when to use Virtualbox and when to use other virtualization software. Virtualbox cross-platform support, open source nature and range features make it suitable for general purpose and development work. It is favored for cross-platform compatibility, useful for developers testing applications across operating system environments. It is cost efficient as it is free and open source and suitable for personal use or small to medium businesses. And ease of use, simple to set up and integration, especially for non-commercial needs. However, VMware Workstation and Fusion might be preferred for professional environments requiring advanced graphics, more stable 3D support and powerful snapshot features. Meanwhile, Hyper-V and KVM would suit enterprise-grade or cloud environments needing high performance, especially where Linux or Windows hosts dominate. In conclusion, or to wrap it up, Virtualbox is a versatile, user-friendly virtualization solution with a robust set of features that caters to diverse virtualization needs. It is especially popular among developers, IT students, and users needing multi-operating system testing environments. For those needing more advanced performance features or native host integration, alternatives like VMware, Parallels or Hyper-V may be worth considering. Now let's discuss what is Virtualbox extension pack, as this is also what you can install when you are installing Virtualbox and what we will also be doing next. So the Virtualbox extension pack is an add-on package on Oracle's Virtualbox, a popular open source virtualization software. This extension pack provides extra features that aren't included in the standard Virtualbox installation, typically adding advanced functionality and improving hardware compatibility. Here's a closer look at what Virtualbox extension pack does and why it might be needed and why you would want to install it at all. Here are the key features of the Virtualbox extension pack. First one, USB 2.0 and USB 3.0 support. The base version of Virtualbox only supports USB 1.1. The extension pack adds support for USB 2.0 and USB 3.0 devices, allowing better speed and compatibility with a broader range of USB devices like external hard drives and webcams. And next feature is Virtualbox Remote Desktop Protocol or VRDP. VRDP feature allows you to remotely connect to and control Virtualbox virtual machine over a network using a Remote Desktop Protocol or RDP. This is useful for accessing VMs from different devices or locations. And next feature is disk image encryption. This feature provides the ability to encrypt and secure virtual disk images, which is crucial for safeguarding data in certain environments, such as corporate and IT infrastructure. And next feature is NVMe and PCIe pass-through. PCIe pass-through allows guest VMs to directly access PCIe devices on the host machine, which can lead to a better performance for certain hardware. NVMe support provides better handling of fast storage devices. And next feature or fifth feature for the extension pack is a PXE boot for Intel cards. PXE or pre-boot execution environment boosting is supported through the Intel network cards, which allows VMs to boot over a network. This is commonly used for automated operating system deployments. So here you might have a question why the extension pack is needed. The extension pack becomes essential if you need USB 2.0, 3.0 support for improved USB device connectivity, or if you want to access virtual machines remotely using RDP, or if you require enhanced security for your virtual environments, disk encryption, or if you have specific hardware needs like using PCI devices directly from your VM or booting over a network. Without the extension pack, VirtualBox will run fine for basic virtualization tasks, but it may lack these advanced features that can improve both performance and convenience. How to install VirtualBox? Now, as from previous episodes, you know what is VirtualBox and what is VirtualBox extension pack. We will be installing VirtualBox and we will be installing VirtualBox extension pack. And by now you should know that VirtualBox is type 2 hypervisor, as it is being installed on another operating system. As we discussed in previous episodes, to install VirtualBox it is fairly simple. You open your browser and we will be installing VirtualBox on Windows, and type in VirtualBox and hit enter. And first will be virtualbox.org website, and VirtualBox, as you also know that it is open source software. Click into the first link, Oracle VirtualBox, and you will get redirected to this page where you will see get started. You will see this button download. Click on download. And on this page on the left hand side you will see here different operating systems. If you are on Linux, then you would take Linux distro or distributions, or Mac OS if you are using Mac, but we will be installing on Windows, so we click on Windows hosts. And download will start and it will download to our local computer. After that, open any folder and go to your downloads directory. And here you will see this file for VirtualBox, and here double click on this file. And it will open this Oracle VirtualBox setup window, where you can see welcome to the Oracle VirtualBox and version number and wizard, and here click on next. Here you select that you accept all terms and license agreements and click next, and here also leave everything as it is and click on next, and here click yes. You click yes, and here you leave everything checked as it is and you click on next, and here click on install, and it will start installation and will install VirtualBox. And VirtualBox is a relatively small software, it is only 300 megabytes. Here you will see this checkbox where it says start Oracle VirtualBox. Make sure that this is checked and click on finish, and it will open VirtualBox. And this is how it looks, and we have installed VirtualBox. And now once you have installed VirtualBox, go back to virtualbox.org website. Here on the right hand side you will see VirtualBox extension pack, VirtualBox 7.1.4 extension pack, and here click on accept and download, and it will download another file. If you click on any folder, and if we go now into downloads, you will see this Oracle VirtualBox extension pack. And to install it on your VirtualBox, let's open Oracle's VirtualBox Manager, and here where is tools on the right hand side, click on this and it will open that currently we are in welcome, and here you will see second tab which is extensions. Click into extensions, and here you will see that we don't have any extensions installed, but here is this button install. Click on this install and go to your downloads where you will see this Oracle VirtualBox extension which we just downloaded. Just click on it and click on open, and it will prompt us with this window, and here you click also on install. And it will ask you to accept and agree to their terms. You scroll it down and I agree button will activate, and click on I agree. And the extension pack is also installed on your VirtualBox. We install VirtualBox and we install the VirtualBox extension pack. If we go into extensions, we have this VirtualBox extension pack. I'm going to show you how to install Windows 10 on your VirtualBox. To do this, open a browser and in search type in Windows 10 download. Here you will see that Microsoft official website microsoft.com. Don't download this image file from anywhere else, so click on download Windows 10 disk image, and here scroll down until you will see this create Windows 10 installation media. Click on download now, and we will download this file to our downloads directory. Once this file is downloaded, this will be executable file. Let's open any folder and go into your downloads directory, and you will see this media creation tool. Double click on it. And it will start with telling us that getting few things ready, and it will prompt us with Microsoft software license terms which we'll need to accept here. And here in this screen, what do you want to do? We don't need to upgrade this PC, but we will be creating ISO file, so we need to select this second option and click on next, and here click on next again. And in this pop-up choose which media to use, we also need to select ISO file, as we want to create ISO file, and click on next. And then we need to select where we want to download this ISO file. I will be downloading it also in my downloads directory, so I will select downloads and click on save. And this ISO file download will start, and we will need this ISO file to create our Windows 10 on our Virtualbox later. So as if you are creating a bootable USB drive, to install Windows 10 from USB, you will be also able to use this ISO file. And once this Windows 10 ISO file has been created and downloaded, click here on finish. And in your downloads folder you will see this Windows 10 file, which is ISO, as you can see, type disk image file. And next let's close this downloads and let's close this browser as we don't need it anymore. And then go into your Oracle Virtual Machine Manager. And from here we will need to create a new machine. And here you see at the very top there is this new, just click on it and it will open this window. In first field you type in name, I will type in there Windows 10. You can type or call this however you want. I will leave this default folder as it is, and there where it says ISO image, you need to select that image which we just downloaded. Click on this arrow down, and here where it says other, just click on it and go to your downloads directory and select this Windows file and click on open. This is ISO image from which you will be installing Windows 10 on this virtual machine. And where it says type, you select Windows, and where it says version, you select Windows 10 64-bit. And here select skip unattended installation and click on hardware tab. And in hardware here you need to select how much memory and how much CPU cores you want to dedicate for this virtual machine. Here in base memory, here I will choose about 10 GB of RAM, and here where it says processors I will choose 4 CPUs. And then I will click on hard disk tab. And here I need to select how much storage I want to dedicate. I will move it to 30 GB. This will be more than enough storage for this VM. And here hard disk file type and variation, I will leave as VDI, VirtualBox disk image, as it is. And here we don't use an existing virtual hard disk file, or we do not add virtual disk. And then we click on finish. And this Windows 10 VM is created, as you can see here on the left hand side. Once we have installed Windows 10, if you select it, you can see here on this window more information about it. But if in future you would like to change any settings about this installation, you click on this operating system which you have installed, because in future you might have installed more than one operating system. What we will be doing next, we will be also installing Kali Linux and Ubuntu. You select the operating system and then you click here on settings, and here in settings tab, if you click here on left hand side, you can see settings which you can change or which you can edit for this virtual machine operating system. Now we will finish installation of our Windows, because currently we just have set it up. So double click on this operating system or this Windows 10 and it will start it. Here in the right hand side in right top corner you can close this down, and here you can proceed with installation of your Windows, where it says Windows United States. There you select language, where it says time and currency format. I will select Ireland. Keyboard or input method. Select your keyboard input method. I will select the UK and click on next and click on install now. Here where it's prompting for product key, here at the very bottom select I don't have a product key. And here select Windows you are intending to install. I will be installing Windows 10 Home. You can select any other version and click on next. And here accept the license terms and click on next. On this window select custom, install Windows only. And in this window just make sure you select this drive we just created and click on next. And now as you can see it's installing Windows. Now once Windows 10 installation is done, we need to finish setting it up. So select country. Click on yes. Here you select your keyboard and click yes again. Here click skip, or if you want to add the second keyboard you can do so. And here where it says who is going to use this PC, you give a username and click next, type a password and click next again, confirm password and hit next again. Here we need to select the security questions, type in these questions and hit next. Here select not now, or if you want you can import from other browsers, click next. To use your location you can select yes and click accept. Find my device, you can also select this if you want. I will select no, accept. Here I will select send required diagnostic data, only required, and click accept. Here I will say no and click accept. Here I will say no and click accept, no and click accept. Here I will say skip. We are getting everything ready for you. And once this installation is done, let's close down this. And here you go guys, we have installed Windows 10 on our Virtualbox. And this Windows works exactly the same as normal Windows would work. If you click on start, this would be your Windows 10 installation. And this is like your second operating system installed on your computer, as by default I'm using Windows 11. If we go into my system, you can see that my original operating system is Windows 11. As you can see, Windows 11 Home. But if we go here and if we go into into the system, you will see that this is Windows 10. As you can see, this is another operating system installed here on my computer. In this tutorial I am going to show you how to create a private internal network. This will be virtual network with 3 virtual machines in Virtualbox, and we will build these virtual machines also in this tutorial. And in this tutorial we are building on our previous setup. In previous episodes we installed Virtualbox and we set up Windows 10 in Virtualbox. And today we will expand this setup by creating a private internal network that connects 3 Windows 10 virtual machines. And here is a brief outline of what we will cover. Firstly, I will demonstrate how to configure the virtual network as a private, non-routable internal network. We'll clone the original Windows 10, which we created, virtual machine to create 2 more virtual machines. Then we will set up IPv4 or non-routable private addresses and subnet masks for all 3 virtual machines, so they are different on this private network. And we are going to do this to enable communication between these 3 virtual machines. And then we will run connectivity tests between these 3 virtual machines, like ping for example, and we will be troubleshooting common network issues between these 3 virtual machines. So let's start by setting up the internal network. And to do this we will set up internal network on the very first virtual machines before we are going to create 2 more virtual machines. And to set up internal network on the Virtualbox, select this operating system, which in our scenario is Windows 10, which we installed in previous tutorial on this Virtualbox, and you can right click on it and select settings here, or you can select settings here on the top bar. Once settings will open up, here on the left hand side select network, as we are going to set up an internal network. And here make sure that you are in adapter 1, and here make sure that you have checked enable network adapter. And in this drop down where it says attached to, currently we are in not, here select internal network. Where it says name, there we can give name to our network. Currently, as you can see, by default it is internet. I will give it a name my network, but like I mentioned, you can give it any name you like. And once you have specified the name for your network, then make sure that you have also checked cable connected. This will be like virtual network which we are creating here on Virtualbox to emulate real world scenario where all these 3 devices which we are adding to this network, they will be cable connected. And after you have done this, click on OK. And these internal network settings connect virtual machines only to each other on the same network or on the same LAN or local area network without side or internet access. This setup is ideal for creating a virtual private network for isolated testing, what we are going to do in this video. Once we have set up this network for this Windows 10 virtual machines, let's clone it and let's create 2 more virtual machines for our network. And as you already probably understood, understood, I created this virtual network already on this first machine, so I don't have to do it to cloned virtual machines. So to clone a virtual machine, hover over this Windows 10 virtual machine which is we created in previous tutorial and right click on it. And here you will see in this tab clone. Click on this clone. Here in first field where it says name, let's give it a name Windows 10-1 VM. So we are creating another virtual machine which will be called Windows 10-1 VM. Where it says clone type, make sure that you have selected full clone, and here where it says MAC address policy, select this drop down and click generate new MAC address for all network adapters. And this generate new MAC address for all network adapters, it ensures that each cloned virtual machine gets a unique MAC address for each network adapter, avoiding IP conflicts on the internal network which we are creating. It is the equivalent of reinitializing MAC addresses in previous Virtualbox versions, ensuring smooth communication between these three VMs. And once you have done this, click here on finish. And it will create a clone of another virtual machine. Let's create a third virtual machine by doing exactly the same. On the first one you right click and then click into the clone. Where it says name, let's give a name to this virtual machine, Windows 10 dash, in this case we will call it 2, so it has a different name, and VM. Make sure that clone type is full clone, and MAC address policy, here as well generate new MAC address for all network adapters. Select it there and click on finish. So we will have another or third virtual machine before we proceed to testing and troubleshooting. And now we have created 3 virtual machines. On each virtual machine we have Windows 10, and in next step we will be assigning IPv4 addresses and subnet masks to each of these Windows 10, so we can start testing, we can start troubleshooting, and we can start pinging. But before we do that, at first step we need to verify network settings for each of these virtual machines. So let's start with very first one, so click on it and click into settings and click into network, and make sure that this is attached to internal network and that it is using network my network or whatever network you created. So this is okay, so let's close this, let's open next one, let's do the same, settings, and let's go into network. It is also attached to internal network and it is using network my network, so this is correct as well. So now let's click in third one, settings, and let's go into network, and it is also attached to internal network and it is using my network. So network settings are okay. Now we need to open all these 3 virtual machines, but if you are following my video tutorials, you know all settings for this basic virtual machine which I have set previously. And here, if you are paying attention, you would know that we will not be able to run these 3 virtual machines on my computer. Because if you look at processors for each of them, then each of them currently have 5 processors dedicated to them. As you see, this one, second one and third one, they have all 5 processors. However, on my computer hardware there are only 12 available processors, which means that we need to also change processor count for each of them, so we can run these 3 virtual machines on my computer's hardware. And in networking, this is very important to always think about hardware on which you are running some other software. And as I am creating this video only for a tutorial for absolutely newbies and emulating real world scenario, I am just showing you these steps in troubleshooting why in this or that scenario you wouldn't be able to run, for example, 3 virtual machines or software which require more resources that your hardware is capable of. So let's click into first one and again click into settings, and let's change this. Let's click here into system, and here where it says processor, as you see I have only 12 CPUs. For this I have a dedicated 5, so I will dedicate only 2 CPUs. And I will click OK here and do exactly the same for second one. Select second Windows 10 virtual machine. Let's click into settings. Again, let's go into system. Again, let's click into processor. And again, let's dedicate this only to and click on OK. And let's do exactly the same for third virtual machine. Select it, click on settings, go into system. Select here at the top tab processor, 2 processors for this virtual machine, and click OK. And another thing is RAM assignment. As you can see, base memory, I have assigned 10 gigabytes of RAM for each of them. So we need to change that as well. So let's go in first one, let's click into settings. And here in the very first screen, when we are in general, you can see here at the very bottom, you can drag this down. I will drag it down to, let's say, 5 gigabyte. As I have 32 gigabyte of RAM here on this PC. And click on OK, click on next one, click in settings. I will select it at 5. You make sure that you have enough RAM on your PC. Click OK. And on third one, and settings, and again on 5. And click on OK. And now let's open Virtual Machine 1. As you can see, this is my first Windows 10. As you can see here at the very top tab, it says Windows 10 is currently running. I have already logged in. And now before we assign private IP address and subnet mask to this virtual machine, let's have a look at what default features it has. So in search of this Windows, type in cmd and click enter, and it will open a command prompt. And here type in ipconfig and hit enter. Here you can see more information about your IP address. In this scenario, this is 169.254.159.98, and it has a subnet mask 255.255.0.0. And I will not be discussing subnet masks as I will not have enough time in this video, but as this is the plan for future videos. But in this video I'm just showcasing you how you can access, how you can change, and where you can actually find these all subnet masks and your IP addresses of your device, as you can see currently for our Ethernet adapter, and we will be changing it. And to change this on your device, right click on Windows icon which is in the left bottom corner, and click into settings. And once settings opens up, here scroll a little bit down until you will see network and internet. Click into network and internet, and here on the left hand side you will see Ethernet. Click into Ethernet tab, and here on the right hand side you will see change adapter options. Click into change adapter options, and here you will see this Ethernet. And here on this Ethernet, right click on it. And here at the very bottom on this pop-up you will see Properties tab. Click into Properties. On this window select Internet Protocol version 4 TCP IPv4. Let's select this and click on Properties. And this is the place where you can change or add your static IP address. In real world scenario you will not be doing this. IP addresses, subnet masks and default gateways are being assigned to local area network devices automatically by the DHCP server. But what we will be doing, we will assign this address ourselves. So click here on second options, use the following IP addresses, and here in IP address field we will be using this IP address for this PC. We will be using IP address 192.168.1.10 and this subnet mask and subnet mask. Click on OK. Remember this IP address 192.168.1.10 and hit OK. And now type in again ipconfig and hit enter, and you will see that now IPv4 address is 192.168.1.10 with our new subnet mask which is 255.255.255.0. And the similar way let's assign IP addresses and subnet masks to all other network devices. For VM2 which we created we will assign this one, and as you can see address this host part will be changing to 11, and to VM3 we will assign this IP address where host part will be 12, where for this first one we have host part 10. And subnet mask for all of them will be the same. So let's open one by one other virtual machines and let's assign IP address and subnet mask for each of them. So for this second Windows 10 we will do exactly the same. Here as well we are going into settings, we are going into network and internet, clicking into Ethernet and clicking change adapter options, and right click on Ethernet and click here on properties. And here also we select TCP IP and we click on properties, and here we will be adding this IP address and hit OK. and let's check it in our command line. CMD, enter, and ipconfig. And here we also see that IPv4 address is 192.168.1.11. So now let's do exactly the same with this third one. Let's open it and let's assign IP address and subnet mask. Right click on Windows, Settings, Network and Internet, Ethernet, change adapter options, right click on Ethernet, Properties, here select TCP/IP4 and Properties. And here the IP address will be with the ending of 12. And you might ask why we are doing this is because assigning each VM a unique IP address within the same subnet allows them to communicate directly. The non-routable private IPs ensure that traffic remains internal. And we are leaving a default gateway empty because gateway IP addresses are for router only if we are routing traffic outside to internet. As we are only in local area network, we are creating local network, we will be connecting only locally, so we will not need a default gateway. So click here OK. Now let's test the basic connectivity between these three machines on the network. Imagine them as three different computers on the same network. This is our first one, so let's open a CMD here or command line and let's ping other devices to check the basic connectivity. Now let's try to ping this second virtual machine, which is Windows 10-2 VM, and that virtual machine, as you remember, we assigned IP address 192.168.1.12, and let's type in ping space and 192.168.1.12 and hit enter. And in short, ping command is used in our scenario to check whether we can access the devices on the same network, and it is sending usually 4 requests: request 1 timed out, request 2 timed out, request 3 and 4 also timed out. This means that we can't, or this Windows 10, which is very first machine which we created, or first computer which we created, is not able to access our second VM as we pinged its IP address and it is not available. And also by using ping command you can check whether you can access devices within your local area network. For example, in future, if you are building your home local area network, or in some office you are building a local area network, you can check by pinging the IP addresses of those other devices within your local area network whether you can access them. If you can't access them, then there is the problem. In our scenario I know what is the problem, and in our scenario the problem is that with Windows 10 the Windows 10 firewall is blocking this ping, and what we need to do for all three these machines or these computers is to switch off. For the testing purposes for this video we will switch off the firewall, but in real world scenario you could configure firewall to allow ping requests. We will switch off for this second VM a firewall. So to do this, right click on start icon in the left bottom corner and click into settings, and here scroll down until you will see update and security, and here on the left hand side you will see this tab Windows security. Click in there, and here you will see firewall and network protection, third tab. Click into that, and here you will see this public network, and currently this is active. Click on this public network, and here in Microsoft Defender Firewall you can see that currently it is on. Let's switch it off. Approve that we are switching it off, and let's close these windows. And now let's go back to our original Windows 10 computer and let's try to ping it again. And again we are pinging 192.168.1.12 IP address, which is IP address of our second virtual machine or second computer, and hit enter. And now you can see that requests are being sent, and here we can see that these all requests were returned, and each of these requests were returned in 1 millisecond. This means that now everything works fine, and that our Windows 10 computer, which is computer 1 which we created originally, is currently able to connect to our second virtual machine. And the same thing you do for our third computer, which is our 1 VM or our first virtual machine. You disable firewall, I already did it, and you can also do ping for this third computer. So let's go back here into our CMD or command prompt, And now let's ping the IP address which ends with 11. You can see that we are also able to connect to this third virtual machine, or we own to first virtual machine. But now let's try our first virtual machine, as you see Windows 10-1 VM, and let's try to ping this our original virtual machine which IP ends with 10. So let's click here CMD, hit enter, and here type in ping space 192.168.1 and .10 and hit enter. So we are now pinging from our first machine which we created, or this is our second computer, this very first computer. And as you can see, request timed out. And probably there is the problem now with this first one, so I will go back into first one, and again I will go into settings, and I will go into update and security, Windows security in left tab. Here I will go into firewall and network protection. As you can see, it is enabled, so let's click into it. Now let's go in public network. Let's switch it off, approve, and let's close this window and this window as well. And now let's go back to our first virtual machine, as you see Windows 10.1 VM, and let's try to ping again the computer which ends with .10. And you can see that now our pinging is successful and we are able to connect all these three machines. We are able to ping from our this machine, and you can try out to ping also from this second virtual machine, both other computers or both machines. And congratulations, you have now set up a virtual private internal network in Virtualbox with 3 Windows 10 VMs on a non-routable IPv4 subnet. This configuration is perfect for isolated testing, where you want VMs to communicate only with each other. We have covered network adapter setup, virtual machine cloning, IP configuration, connectivity testing and troubleshooting, giving you a solid foundation for more advanced networking experiments. I'm going to show you how to make Virtualbox in full screen for any operating system at all. If you have installed any other operating systems than Windows 10 where I will be demonstrating, you just open it. And to make it full screen, here at the top click on devices, click into insert guest edition CD image, and after you have done this, go into any folder of your operating system, as it in some cases mounts it to your drive, and here click into this PC. Here you will see this CDD Virtualbox guest editions, double click on it. And here search for file vbox Windows Editions. As you can see, this is executable file. Just click on it and follow instructions to install it. Yes, next, next, install, and finish and reboot this virtual machine. Then go to View, and here you will see full screen mode. Just click on it and click on switch. And there you have it. Now you can use it in full screen mode. I'm going to show you how to install Kali Linux on Virtualbox. We installed Windows 10 on this Virtualbox, and now we will install another operating system, which is Kali Linux. So before we start, first we need to download ISO file for Kali Linux. And to do so, open a browser and type in Kali Linux. And you will see this very first website, which will be kali.org. Open it up. This is their official website, and click here on download. Here we will not be using this virtual machines file because it has problems in some cases, so as it doesn't allow you to direct access to your hardware. As you see, limited direct access to hardware. We will be using this installer image. Click on this recommended. And here select your system. As I am using, and you most likely are using, 64-bit system, select this one and click here on this arrow down to download this file. And once this image will be downloaded, it will be in your downloads directory. Let's close now this browser window and let's open Oracle Virtualbox Manager, and here click on New, as we are creating a new virtual machine. And here in name you can give any name you like. I will call this virtual machine Kali Linux. Where it says folder, leave this folder as it is, and here where it says ISO image, here we need to select that image. So click here on the right hand side on this arrow down, and here you will see this other. Click on this other and go to your downloads directory and select this Kali Linux 2024 0.3 installer AMD64. Just select it and click on open. Here where it says type we leave Linux, where it says subtype we leave Ubuntu, it will work fine for Kali Linux, and where it says version, leave Ubuntu 64-bit. Then leave unattended install as it is and click on hardware. And here where it says base memory, at RAM we will need at least 2 gigs of RAM. As you can see, it is set by default, but if you can afford, set more RAM. As you can see in my scenario, I have 32 gigs of RAM on this PC, so I can easily give it a 7 or 8 gigs of RAM for this installation. Where it says processor, give at least 2 logical CPU cores. I will also give here 4, as I have 12 CPU cores available. And once this is done, click on hard disk, and here you need to give at least 20 GB of storage. I will give it 40 GB of storage, as I have enough storage on this PC. And leave all the rest as it is and click on finish. And it will prepare this virtual machine installation. And before we proceed, let's do one more setting. So click on Kali Linux here and click here on settings. Once this opens up, here at display, give it all 128 and click on OK. And now let's proceed with installing Kali Linux. Double click on this virtual machine here on the left hand side, which you have installed. In this screen, select graphical install and click on enter. Here we will leave language as English and click on continue. Here you can select your country. I will select Ireland and click continue. And here you give a keyboard settings. I will select British English and click continue. Here for hostname you leave it as it is. Click on continue. Here configure the network. Also leave it as it is, click continue. And here you specify a username for your account. I will type in here Bugatti, click continue. And here you type in your password and confirm your password and click continue. And we will be using guided use entire disk, click continue. Here click continue. And here we will be using all files in one partition, click continue. And now we can finish partitioning and write changes to disk, click continue here. Here yes and continue. And now it's installing the operating system. And here on this screen you can customize your desktop environment. I will leave it as a default as it is and click continue. And it will ask us to install grub bootloader. You make sure you have clicked yes and click continue. And here select your virtual drive, which will be second one, and click continue. And now it's finishing the installation. Now installation is complete, and here click continue to reboot. It will just shut it down and will start it, and we will have our Linux Kali installation. Here you enter your username and your password which you created and click on login. And this is how you install Kali Linux on Windows 10 Virtualbox. Today we are going to install Ubuntu on Virtualbox. Let's go and let's install Ubuntu as third operating system on this Virtualbox. And to do this, let's open a browser and in browser type in Ubuntu. And here you will see this very first website, which is ubuntu.com. This is their official website. Click into it. And on this page on the top navigation you will see Get Ubuntu. Click on this drop down and here you will see this green button, download Ubuntu desktop. Click into there and on this page you will see Ubuntu 24 or whatever version of Ubuntu will be at the time you will be watching this video. Click here on the right hand side, download. And this will download this file or ISO image to your computer. Once this download will be complete, Ubuntu will be saved in your downloads directory. Now let's open a VirtualBox and here click on new and here where it says name, give it a name. I will call it simply Ubuntu. Where is folder, leave it as it is, and where is ISO image, on the right hand side click on this arrow and here click on other and go to your downloads directory where you will find your Ubuntu file which we just downloaded. Click on it and click on open. Where it says type, select Linux. Where it says subtype, select Ubuntu, and where it says version, select Ubuntu 64-bit. Then select unattended install, and here where it says username, there you can give a username. I will give it there a username Bugatti, and where it says password, give a password. And then select hardware. And where it says base memory, as you can see by default it is 2 gigs. I will select in base memory 7 GB, and where it says processor, I will give it 2 or 3 CPUs or 3 logical processors. Then select hard disk, and by default it will be 25 GB. Here I also will give about 40 GB GB and click on finish. And now if you have clicked finish, in some scenarios it will start straight away installation process, but close it down as I want to show you how it works from the very beginning. After you have done this, select this Ubuntu virtual machine which we just created, and here at the very top click on start. And let's start installation of Ubuntu. And here you will see this try or install Ubuntu. Let's close this side panel down and the installation will start. Once it has loaded, you will see here your username. Here you will see your password where you enter password. Hit enter. On this screen in the right top corner click on next. Here click on next. Here no, don't share the system data. If you want you can share, and click on next. And here you click on finish. And your Ubuntu will be installed. Here if you click on view, full screen mode, here click on switch. And if your Ubuntu is not in full screen mode, here on the top navigation click on devices, and here click on insert guest edition CD image. And this disk icon will appear here in this navigation. And now to complete this installation we need to open up terminal. Click here in the left bottom corner on this icon. Here select terminal. Here change directory to media by using command cd. Hit enter. And in this media you should have a folder name with your username. So let's enter this folder by using cd. Type in your username, what you use to log in, / and enter. And you will enter your user's folder. And in this folder type in ls and hit enter, and you will be able to see this file which we just downloaded. Let's enter this virtual CD-ROM folder by also typing a command cd and this folder name. And hit enter. And once we are in this folder we can have a look around by seeing what files are there by also entering a command ls and hit enter. And now you see all files which are located in this folder. And here you can see this file vbox linux editions.run. This is the file which we need to run, but this is compressed and we will not be able to run it, so we need to install a bzip2 tar. Before we do that, type in sudo apt update, hit enter, and here your password, and hit enter, and it will update all packages. And now let's install bzip2 tar. Type following command: sudo apt install bzip2 space and tar. And hit enter. Here you click on Y to confirm it yes, and hit enter. And now let's try to run this guest editions file bblinux-editions.run. And to do so, also type in command sudo, this is as you are using as main user, // and file name, and hit enter. And here you can see the system is currently not set up build kernel models. Please install the gcc make perl packages from your distribution. So let's do it. And to do that also type in sudo apt space install and gcc make perl and hit enter. Here again Y to confirm yes, enter. And now let's run these guest editions again. Just click on arrow up to get to those commands and hit enter. And now it should be working, but first let's restart this virtual machine. Let's close it down. Now make sure that you have clicked on this virtual machine, and here on the top click on start. Here again let's log in, click on your name, type in your password, hit enter, and here on top where it says view, full screen mode, and click on switch. And now Ubuntu is installed and it is available in full screen mode. I'm going to show you how to install Windows 11 on Virtualbox. As you can see, currently I have two operating systems, Kali Linux and Ubuntu Linux. Now let's install Windows 11. And to do so, open Google and in search type in download Windows 11. And you will see this very first link, download Windows 11, click into it. And on this page scroll down until you will see this download Windows 11 disk image ISO for x64 devices. And here in this selection box click on it and select Windows 11 multi-edition ISO for x64 devices. And click on download now. And here you need to select the language. I will select English International and click confirm. And click here on this button 64-bit download. and it will download this file into your downloads directory. Once you have downloaded the file, open your Oracle VirtualBox Manager and click on New. And here where is name, give a name to this virtual machine. We will call it Windows 11. Second field is folder where this virtual machine is being stored. I will leave it as it is. And here in ISO image, third field, click on the right hand side arrow, and here you will see this other. Click on this other and select that file which you have just downloaded. And click on open, and it will recognize that type is Microsoft Windows, so leave it as it is. Version Windows 11, so leave it as it is. Then here make sure that skip unattended install is not checked and click on next field. So here you select login username. I will select Bugatti like in all my videos, and here you give password. And then click on hardware. Here base memory, select how much RAM you want to give. As you can see by default it is selecting already or checking 4 GB. You can give more. I will give more as I have 32 GB on my PC. I will give it about 8 GB. And here processors, as you see by default it is 2 processors or 2 CPUs. And these are logical processors. Here I will give also about 3. Click on next one on hard disk. So here you can see that we have 80 GB by default. I will leave 80 GB. This is your storage which we will have on this Windows 11 version, and click on finish. And when you will click finish, it will automatically start this virtual machine. And we will be starting installation. In this window select language and click on next. Here select keyboard or input method. I will leave it as United Kingdom and click next. Here I would like to install Windows 11. So select install Windows 11. Check I agree everything will be deleted including files, apps and settings, and click on next. Here where it says product key, here select I don't have a product key. And here select Windows version which you would like to install. I will be installing Windows 11 Pro and click next. And here accept these terms and conditions. Here leave it as it is and click on next. And here click on install, and it will start installing Windows 11. And here select your region. I will select Ireland and click yes. And here you can select your keyboard. I will select United Kingdom and click yes. Do you want to add a second keyboard layout? I will say skip. Here it will ask you to name your device. Skip this for now. Here it will ask you how you would like to set up this device. Here select set up for personal use and click on next. Here it says your Windows update is in progress. This could take a while. Please keep your PC on and plugged in. So we will need to wait until this downloading process finishes. And here click on sign in. And sign in with your Microsoft account. Here it will ask you let Microsoft app use your location. Select yes, click accept. Find my device. You can say yes or no and click on accept. Send diagnostic data to Microsoft. Here I will say required only and accept. Improve inking and typing. No, accept. And get tailored experiences via diagnostic data. No and accept. And here you go, you have installed the Windows 11 on VirtualBox. And if you would want to make it full screen, you can try to do it full screen. Click on switch. If it doesn't work, then click on Ctrl and F on your keyboard, and then click here on devices and click here on insert guest addition CD image. After you have done this, click here on folder in this Windows 11 operating system. Here scroll down and click on this PC, and here you will see this CD VirtualBox guest additions image. Click on it. Here click on this VBox Windows additions. Double click on it and here say yes. Here say next, next and install. And you will need to reboot this system. Click here on finish. It will reboot this Windows. Here log in into your account. And now click here on View and Full Screen and click on Switch, and it will turn this Windows 11 into full screen. I'm going to show you how to set up a local area network or LAN in VirtualBox, and we will be doing it from 3 Windows 11 instances or 3 Windows 11 virtual machines. I have already showed you how you can create a private network on VirtualBox, but we used Windows 10. But in this video I will show you how to do it with Windows 11 and how to create not a private but local area network. And in future videos we will also create a workgroup for all these 3 instances which we will create in this video, and how to also add a hybrid system to this LAN, and we will be adding or enabling Hyper-V on this local area network. Here I will demonstrate all this in a virtual environment, but these videos will be useful for anyone if, for example, in your home environment or in your classroom you want to create a local area network and you want to share files between multiple computers on local area network. For example, your mother has a computer, your father has a computer, you have a computer, you create a local area network, and then you are able to share files between these computers by using a workgroups on Windows 11. Or you could be able to replicate this also on Windows 10. So now further ado, and let's get into it. First thing, as you can see, we have installed Windows 11 on VirtualBox. We will start from here where we have one instance of Windows 11, and we will be setting up 2 more. Let's configure network configurations for this virtual machine. So to do this, click on this Windows 11 and click here in Settings at the top, or you can right click on this Windows 11 and click on Settings here in the very first tab. And once this settings opens up, click here on the left hand side into Network. And here make sure that in the network you are in adapter 1 and this enable network adapter is selected, and here is attached to. Now currently we are not. We click on this drop down and here we select on internal network. And internal network, this is for setting up a local area network, and where it says name, give a name to this local area network. We will call this local area network LAN-group 1. Here where it says adapter type, leave it as it is, and promiscuous mode, make sure that this is in deny, and make sure that you have cable connected, because this will be kind of LAN or local area network which is cable connected, and hit OK. Now let's duplicate this Windows 11 virtual machine, and to do that hover over this tab Windows 11, right click on it and click on clone. And here in the name field you can call it however you want. I will simply add Windows 11-2, and here make sure the clone type is full clone, and where it says MAC address policy, click in this drop down and here select generate new MAC address for all network adapters and click on finish, and it will create another Windows 11. And now let's do exactly to create a third virtual machine for third Windows 11 instance. And to do so, right click again on Windows 11 on the very first virtual machine, click on clone, and here again let's give it a name Windows 11-3. As this will be our third virtual machine. Here make sure that full clone is enabled. In MAC addresses select generate new MAC address for all network adapters and click on finish, and it will create as a third virtual machine for Windows 11. And now once we have created these 3 virtual machines, now click on very first one, which is called Windows 11 in our scenario, and here on the right hand side where it says network, make sure that it has adapter 1 and it is using internal network LAN-group 1. Then click on second one, which is Windows 11-2 in our scenario. Here also make sure that it is also using adapter 1, internal network LAN-group 1. And the same on third one, in adapter 1, internal network LAN-group 1. This means that they all are on the same network. Now let's open one by one all these 3 virtual machines. Let's open this very first one. You can double click on it or click on it and here click on start. And now similar way let's open another one. As you can see here on the top tab it says Windows 11 is currently running with Oracle VirtualBox. Now let's click on second one and let's click on start. And now let's click on third one and also click on start, and let's start our third virtual machine. And now let's log in all these virtual machines. Let's start by Windows 11. I will close this sidebar off. Let's click on it. Let's log in. Hit enter. Now let's log in into this one, Windows 11-2. As you remember, in previous videos I showed you how to create these accounts. That's why I have here many login accounts and how to add these accounts into groups. If you would like to know how to do that, watch my other videos. And here we also log in. And let's also log in into third Windows 11. And now, before we even continue, I will close this VirtualBox manager down. Before we continue, let's check whether they are on the same network. And to check whether they are on the same network, let's open Windows 11, which is the very first virtual machine. And here in search, type in CMD. So we can check the IP address of this particular virtual machine. And to check IP address, we use command ipconfig and hit enter. And here we can see the IP address, which is 169.254.139.145. And if we see this IP address 169.254, this means that this IP address has been assigned to this machine by itself. And this is a PIPA IP address. As we know, these are self-assigned addresses if the device which is connected to the network can't find a DHCP server or not in the network. So what we will do next is we will assign IP addresses to all these three machines. In this scenario, in real world scenario, you would have some private IP address which would be provided or assigned to your machine by DHCP, which is in your router, for example. Then to assign IP address to this particular machine, we right click on the start icon, we go into settings, and here in the right hand side, network and internet, we click into very first tab, Ethernet. Then we scroll down, see here IP assignment. Click here on edit to the right hand side for this IP assignment. Here select manual. Here we select IPv4, and here I will give IP address 192.168.1.10. And subnet mask should populate automatically. If it's not populating, then type in subnet mask 255.255.255.0 and click save. And now again let's type in CMD in search, hit enter, and now again type in ipconfig and hit enter. And now you can see that here is this IP address which we assigned to this very first device, which is in our scenario Windows 11, and IP address for it is now 192.168.1.10. So let's do exactly the same for all other Windows virtual machines. So let's open this one, Windows 11-2, which is our second virtual machine, and here we also right click on start icon, we click into settings, we click into network and internet, let's click into Ethernet, and here scroll down until you will see IP assignment, click on edit, click here, select here this in this drop down manual, enable IPv4, and here let's assign IP address 192.168.1.11. And subnet mask is the same, 255.255.255.0, and click on save. And also let's check whether this device also has this IP address. So click in search, type in CMD and hit enter. And here again let's type a command ipconfig and hit enter. And here we can see that we have IP address for this second device, which ends with .1.11. And now let's assign the IP address to our third device. Let's close this sidebar, and here we also do exactly the same. Let's right click on start icon, settings, we go into network and internet, we click into Ethernet, we select here IP assignment, we click on edit, here we select in drop down manual, we enable IPv4 assignment, and we type in 192.168.1.12, and in subnet mask the same, 255.255.255.0, and click save. And again let's type in CMD in search, hit enter. and ipconfig and hit enter. And now we can see that this shared device has IP 192.168.1.12. So now let's make sure that they are on the same network. Let's go back to Windows 11, which is our very first virtual machine. And from this virtual machine, let's type in cmd. Let's hit enter and let's try to ping all other virtual machines to see whether they are on the same network and they can talk to each other. Here let's first type in ipconfig, so we can see IP address of this machine, which is 192.168.1.10, and as you remember, for the virtual machine 2 we have IP ending with 11, and for virtual machine 3 we have IP ending with 12. So let's ping a second virtual machine, ping space 192.168.1 and .11, and hit enter. And if we still can't ping, as you can see in this scenario, we need to disable firewall, as the firewall is not allowing ping requests to other virtual machines. And to do so in all virtual machines, let's disable firewall. So right click on start. I will not be configuring firewall in this video. We could simply configure to allow these ping requests, but I will be simply disabling as I am creating this only for demonstration purposes. So here let's select again settings, here select privacy and security, here Windows security, here virus and threat protection, and here on the left hand side select firewall and network protection, and here where it says public network, click into it and disable this one and click on yes here. And exactly the same we need to do for all other virtual machines. And now let's go again to our very first virtual machine, which is Windows 11. Let's close this down and let's try to ping again. Let's type in cmd, hit enter, and now let's try to ping our second device, which is 192.168.1.11, and hit enter. And as you can see, pinging is now happening. This means that this very first computer can easily speak to our second computer. And let's do exactly the same. Let's ping now device, our third computer, which is 192.168.1.12, and hit enter. And here you can see that these devices are also able to communicate. So now we have set a local area network and we added all these three devices on local area network, and we assigned IP addresses or configured IP addresses and subnet masks for all of these three computers. In real life that would be like three computers. I'm going to show you how to create workgroups on Windows 11. In previous videos we created 3 Windows 11 instances. These could be your real 3 computers, but we created them in Virtualbox, so I can show you exactly what is happening. As you understand, Windows 11, that could be your one computer, Windows 11 2, which we created, could be your another computer. As in these 3 virtual computers which we created in previous videos, I will demonstrate you how you can create a workgroup and how you can share files. Here at the top you can see Windows 11-2. This is currently the Windows 11-2. This one is Windows 11, which is our first computer, and then we have this third one, Windows 11-3. So now I will log in into all of these computers. And now let's open our very first computer which we created, which would be Windows 11. And here on this Windows computer, let's create a workgroup, or let's establish a workgroup. And to do that, here click on File Explorer. And once this window opens up, then here on the left hand side, you will see this PC. Right click on this PC and click on Properties. Here you will see this link Advanced System Settings. Click into Advanced System Settings, and here on this tab, click on Computer Name, which is first tab on this System Properties. And here you will see this button Change. Click into this button Change. And here where it says Workgroup, as you can see, currently workgroup is called simply workgroup. We will call this workgroup workgroup 1. You can call this workgroup however you want. I will simply change it from workgroup to workgroup 1 and click OK. It will prompt with welcome to the workgroup 1 and click OK here, and another prompt will come up. You must restart your computer to apply these changes. You click on OK and here close this and restart now. So we restart this very first computer, and while this very first machine or very first computer is restarting, let's do exactly the same with all other computers. Now let's go to Windows 11-2 and do exactly the same. Let's click on this File Explorer. Here right click on this PC, click on Properties, and here click on Advanced System Settings link. Here again click on Computer Name. Here click on Change. Here where it says Workgroup, change it from Workgroup to Workgroup 1 and click on OK. And in normal scenario you wouldn't get this error. As you can see, this is the error of duplicated computer names. But here in the computer name I will also change this computer name. I will click here on OK and I will also change the computer name. But you can see after I close that error, it is also telling us that welcome to the Workgroup 1. Workgroup 1, we have been added to the Workgroup 1, and you must restart your computer. You click on OK. But here I again will click on Change, and I will also change this computer. Instead of 8 of computer name, I will add there 7 and click on OK. And again we will get this, you must restart your computer. I click on OK. I click on close this, restart also this computer. And now let's go to the third one and do exactly the same. Click on File Explorer, then right click on this PC, select Properties. In this tab click on this link Advanced System Settings, click into Computer Name in the very first tab, and here click on Change. And here we will also change this computer name to end not with 8 but with 9. So all these computers have different names and they don't have naming conflict. And here at Workgroup we will also change from Workgroup to Workgroup 1 and click on OK. And now as you can see, it added also welcome to the Workgroup 1, click on OK. And you must restart your computer, click on OK. Close this down and restart now, and this will also restart this third computer. And let's go now back to our very first computer, which is Windows 11. Let's type in Control Panel in search of this very first computer. Let's click into the control panel, network and internet. Let's click into the network and sharing center here. Here we click into the change advanced sharing settings. Here make sure that network discovery is on and file and printer sharing is also on. And do exactly the same for all other devices which you added to this Workgroup 1. I have already done this, so I will not be doing this, but if you are adding more devices to the same workgroup, make sure that you have also enabled these two options. And to check network connectivity between these computers, we did this already in last tutorial or in last video. I will leave a link in the description if you haven't seen that video, but I will do this also again for this one time, guys. I will open this Windows 11-3 computer. I will type in CMD. I will click enter, type in ipconfig to see the IP address of this computer. As you can see, the IP address of this computer in our scenario is 192.168.1.12, and in previous videos we assigned these IP addresses to these computers. In your scenario, these IP addresses will be assigned by DHCP, so if you are on some real world network, you will not need to do this. So let's see whether we can connect to this Windows 11 first virtual machine, and to do that we type in ping and we type in 192.168.1.10. As you remember, our Windows 11 or first Windows computer IP address is 192.168.1.10, and hit enter. And as you can see, ping is going through, so these computers are on the same network, so they are also able to communicate with each other. And now, for the purpose of seeing the connectivity of these three computers, let's also do it by File Explorer. So now let's go to our first computer, and our first computer, as you remember, is Windows 11, not Windows 11.3 but Windows 11, which is this one. And here let's click on File Explorer on this folder. Let's click on it. Let's get into the File Explorer and let's go into the downloads. So in this computer's downloads folder I will create another folder. So right click on New Folder, and here I will add the folder. I will call it PC1. Then I will click into this folder on this first computer, and I will add there some file, some random file, whatever file it is. So I will also right click, New, and I will create a file, text document, and I will call this text document my file. You can call it however you want. So we just, for the demonstration purposes, in downloads directory added another folder, and in this folder we added one file. And I will be sharing this folder with all other groups, and to share this folder with everyone who is in this workgroup 1, you right click on this folder and click on properties. And here at the very top you will see sharing. Click in sharing and click on this very first option, which is share. There is also advanced sharing where you can add passwords and things like that. I will not be demonstrating that, but you can play around with that for yourself. There you can add more permissions on this sharing option, but I will do a simple sharing by clicking here on share. And once you click on share, then here in the very first tab you click on this arrow down, and you will see all users which you can share with, and I will be sharing with everyone. And once you click on everyone, click here on this button add, and it will add it here. You can also on this everyone, you can click here on read. Currently it is read permissions level. You can add read or write permissions. I will select read and write, and once you have done this, click on share. So this folder is now shared, and here you can see the path to this folder, which is // desktop-7ctg0p8, and this very first one, desktop-7ctg0p8, is the computer name of this particular computer. And now let's try to access this folder from other computer. Let's select computer 2, which in our scenario is Windows 11 2, and in this second computer click on File Explorer, and here in address bar right click somewhere away from this home and delete this home and type in // and we need to type that computer name, and that computer name, as you can see here, I have been accessing it already. It is desktop-7ctg0p8, and hit enter. And here you will see this users folder, and here you can also on the left hand side you can see this networks tab. Click on this arrow on networks tab, and here you will see this user desktop-7ctg0p8, and click here on this users, and here you can see that users is Bugatti. This is for this computer, for computer Windows 11, for the very first computer where we created this folder PC1. And as you know, on that computer main user is also Bugatti, so here we are able to access all his files. So let's click into this Bugatti folder, and now let's go to the downloads directory and let's check whether there is this PC1 folder. So let's click in, and here you can see this PC1 folder, and here is this my file, and we are accessing this very first computer, which is Windows 11, from computer which is Windows 11-2. We can also go back to this very first computer, and we could add here another directory. So right click, new folder, and let's call this folder folder. And now let's go back to this computer Windows 11-2, and here let's go back to his downloads, and here you can also see this folder, and we are also able to see and access from this computer Windows 11-2 this folder which we just created on Windows 11 first computer. And similar way, if you would like to, as you remember, we created another user, and that user was with not 8 but with 9. Click on 9, hit enter, and now we are in 9 here if you look on the left hand side, but if we click into it, there is nothing in this folder because we haven't shared anything from that computer. So to share from that computer, which in our scenario is Windows 11-3, click into Windows 11-3, again click on File Explorer, go here into Downloads, and here let's create another directory or folder by right clicking and clicking on New and selecting New and clicking into Folder, and we will call it PC3. You can call it however you want. I'm just demonstrating you how you can share these files. And now right click on this file and go into properties. Again, here at the very top, click into sharing, and let's click on this very first share option. And also let's share this with everyone, as you can see there, guys, and click on add, and it is adding it here, and click on share. And now this is also shared, and here you can also see the path of the link. You can share this link with someone, for example, on this network, and they can access directly this folder if you would like to do so. Here click on done. Here let's close this all down, and now let's go back to this PC. And now again, let's highlight this computer's name, which is desktop-7ctg0p9. Let's hit enter and you will see this folder users again, and click into the users. There we have, as this is a little bit confusing because there is also Bugatti, because I cloned these three virtual machines and usernames are the same. So here is also user Bugatti. So this will be or might be different user for if you would be doing it in real life. Click in this Bugatti, let's go into downloads, and here you will see this PC3 that it shared also, and we are accessing from Windows 11-2. This is our second machine or computer which we created, also files from that computer. So yes guys, this is how you can create workgroups and how you can share files with other computers or users on the same network. I'm going to show you how to install Windows Server 2025 on Virtualbox. As you can see here, we have the latest version of Virtualbox, and we have been previously installing Ubuntu, Kali, Windows 11 and many other operating systems. And to install Windows Server, go to your browser and search for Windows Server 2025, and you will see the very first link, Windows Server 2025 Microsoft Evaluation Center. Click into it. Once you are on this page, Windows Server 2025, scroll a little bit down and here you will see this get started for free, and here will be download the ISO file. Click into this link. On this page all you will need to do is to fill out this form, which is located on the right hand side of this page. Once you have filled out this register for your free trial today, scroll down and click on download now, and you will be redirected to this page, and here you will see the very first tab, United States English version. This is what I am going to download in my scenario. Here you will see the very first one, ISO download. Click on 64-bit edition and click on it, and it will get downloaded into your downloads directory. So I will be back when this file will be downloaded. And once we have downloaded ISO file, let's open Oracle's VirtualBox Manager, and here click on this very first icon which says New. In the name field give a name Windows Server 2025, or you can call it however you want. Here in folder leave it as it is, and where it says ISO image on the right hand side, click on this arrow down and click here on Other, and select that file which you have just downloaded and click on Open, and it will detect that it is Microsoft Windows, and where is version you will see Windows 2022 64-bit, leave it as it is, and here click on this skip unattended installation and click on next tab which is hardware, and here where is hardware base memory you will see that it by default gives it 2 GB of RAM. In my scenario I have 32 GB RAM on this computer. Depending on how much you have on your computer, I will give it only 1 more gigabyte. And where it says processor, currently you can see it is 1 processor by default. Here I will also give it as 3 virtual CPUs. And here where you will see this field enable EFI, click this and click on hard disk, and in this field by default it will give 50 GB, which is enough for playing around with Windows Server 2025. And once you have done this all, click on finish, and this virtual machine will be created. And now we need to install Windows Server on this virtual machine which we just created. So click on this virtual machine which you have just created, and here on the top click on start. Here click on enter key. Make sure that you click on enter key straight away so it doesn't go to boot, and here we can start installation, and here you can see first field select language. You can select language and click on next. Keyboard or input method, I will select UK. You can select United Kingdom. You can select whatever you want and click on next. And here select I would like to install Windows Server, and here select this checkbox. I agree everything will be deleted including files, apps and settings. This is related only to this virtual machine which we are creating, and click on next. And here make sure to select the second version. As you see, Windows Server 2025 Standard Evaluation Desktop Experience. Select second option and click on next and click on accept. Here make sure that you are installing on this disk which we created, which is 50 GB, and click on next, and here on this page click on install. And now you can see that it has been installed, and now it is restarting. And here we need to add a password. As first username you will not be able to change, as first username for Windows Server, whether it's 22 or 25, it is always will be administrator. So here you give a password or specify a password for this account and click on finish. And here as you can see at the very top, press Ctrl Alt plus Delete to unlock, and you can do it by clicking here on top of the screen at input, click on keyboard, and here you will see insert Ctrl Alt Delete. Click on this tab and here you enter your password which you just created and hit enter. It asks send diagnostic data. Here I will select required only and click on accept. Here I will select don't show this message again and I will close this down, and here we have installed Windows Server. But now if you would like to make it full screen, all you need to do is click here on devices, click into insert guest additions. Once you have done this, open File Explorer by clicking here on this folder icon. Scroll down until you will see this PC, click into this PC. Here you will see the CD drive D Virtual Guest Additions, double click on it. In this window scroll down until you will see here VBox Windows Additions AMD 64, double click on it, click on next, install. You will need to reboot Windows Server, so click on finish and it will reboot. And here again we will need to log in. Like I mentioned, if you want to log in, you go into input, keyboard, and here you select insert Ctrl Alt Delete. Here let's insert our password, hit enter. And now here at the top of the Virtualbox, here you will see this view, click on view and click on full screen mode and click here on switch. And wait a bit and it will turn into the full screen mode. So yes guys, this is how you can install Windows Server 2025 on Virtualbox. If you found this video useful, leave a like, share this video and subscribe to the channel. In next videos we will start working with Windows Server and especially with Microsoft's Active Directory. If interested, subscribe and see you in the next one.